Chu Qian traveled to a parallel world and also bound a live streaming system called God Level. As long as the popularity is high enough, you can receive various rewards. With the system in place, Chu Qian became an online store exploration anchor. But as the live broadcast progressed, the whole thing developed into an increasingly outrageous situation. Adding water and ice to a seafood gift box is just a routine operation. Maybe, I didn't expect this rope to sell for the same price as crabs. The wine immortal is drunk for 9 yuan per bottle and needs to be mixed with water. It's not enough to drink people to death. I didn't expect that all the products I use every day are branded. Just as Chu Qian was about to say something, she didn't expect the various messages in the live broadcast room to confuse her. Dongguan ACI has already followed you and said, "Thank you, anchor. We will be here soon and we will definitely investigate." Shenzhen ACI has already followed you. The police have been dispatched, and the banner is on its way. Chengdu ACI has already followed you. Warmly invite the anchor to take a walk in Chongqing. With various bizarre live streaming incidents happening, netizens couldn't help but exclaim, "The anchor continues to explore the store, and we still want to see these particularly criminal stores." All network ACI. Please slow down the anchor, we work overtime every day, we really can't catch it. Keywords of the novel. Anchor convergence point, police uncle can't catch no pop-ups. Anchor convergence point, police uncle can't catch the latest chapters. Download the full text, anchor convergence point, police uncle can't catch the latest chapters. Chapter 1. Believe me, I still pay attention to you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Believe me, I still pay attention to you. Magic City, Seafood Processing Market. This is one of the largest seafood processing markets in Magic City. You can buy some fresh seafood in the market and come to the nearby restaurant for processing. This approach has suddenly attracted numerous tourists and become one of the popular check.in locations for internet celebrities. Whenever it's prime time, the entire market is filled with crowds, and there is even a long queue outside the store. The entire market is filled with lively scenes everywhere. At this moment, in Do Sha's live broadcast room. I can't swipe when I'm not hungry, I can't hide when I'm hungry. I really want to go to this place too. These ingredients look so fresh. Yeah, this way, I'm not afraid of encountering awkward pictures for reference only. I'm telling you, buying some seafood this season and having a chilled beer is so comfortable. In the live broadcast room, countless water enthusiasts were also attracted by the lively scene in front of them, and entered the live broadcast room one after another. However, the number of people can only be maintained at around 100 or 200. Seeing this, Chu Qian couldn't help but sigh and began to underestimate in her heart. When will it take to complete the task given by the system? If someone else hears this, they probably think Chu Qian must have some serious illness. Only Chu Qian knew that everything she said was not nonsense. In fact, she is a traveler. A few days ago, she was still a social animal hugging 996, but due to an accident, she crossed into this world. This world can be said to be almost the same as the world where she lived in her previous life, whether it is technology or civilization. Even entertainment is almost the same. Just as Chu Qian was amazed by why she had traveled, a system called God Level Live bound her. This instantly made Chu Qian feel energized. As an old bookworm, how could she not know the meaning of the system? With curiosity, Chu Qian began to study. The function of my own system is very simple and effective, which is to continuously accumulate my popularity through live streaming. The so-called popularity value is actually easy to understand. The simplest way is to connect with your own fans. The more fans you have, the higher the popularity of the topic. So naturally, the popularity value will also be correspondingly increased. After obtaining popularity, various rewards can be obtained through a lottery system. Every time the popularity reaches 100,000 points, a lottery can be held. The rewards here are not just currency, but also various powerful skills. It can be said that the higher the popularity value, the easier it is to draw good rewards. After receiving good rewards, one can continuously gain popularity points. After binding, the system also thoughtfully included a complete set of professional live streaming equipment. It can be said that everything is ready, except for the east wind. After registering her account, Chu Qian became a store exploration anchor in the Dousha live broadcast room. However, for a whole few days, the audience in the live broadcast room was only a few hundred people from zero to now. For several consecutive days, the daily popularity value only increased by several tens or hundreds. This accumulation speed simply cannot meet the threshold for the lottery of the washing system. You should know that this is still a certain recommendation system for new anchors in Dousha, who will push a certain number of water friends every day. Once you miss the period of being a new anchor, you may only be able to live stream in the air every day in the future. There's no need to think about accumulating popularity. Despite that, Chu Qian knew that the live broadcast had to continue. Just as Chu Qian was picking her lunch with a live streaming device, the words of a nearby vendor caught her attention. "Are you live streaming?" This caught Chu Qian's attention. She was the owner of a seafood stall. "The older I get in my 40s, the more friendly I look with a smile on my face." Chu Qian also nodded slightly in respect, and then the landlady warmly began to greet her. "Little girl, are you here to eat seafood alone? Come to sister's place, we'll give you a cost price later." After speaking, he picked up a black plastic bag and grabbed it in his hand, starting to introduce it to Chu Qian. "Big sister, let me tell you, the hairy crabs and shrimp are getting old this season. You can eat more and they won't gain weight. You can't eat too much as a girl. Take 5 or 6 hairy crabs, 1 lobster, and 2 pounds of spotted shrimp are enough. Here, sister, I'll definitely make you feel at ease with your purchase. It's just enough to eat." After speaking, the boss looked at Chu Qian and put the goods directly into the black bag on his stall. Fresh seafood kept being packed into bags and placed aside. The landlady even grabbed a few fresh spotted shrimp and shook them in her hand. "You see, it's still alive to this day." Chu Qian also remained silent, just silently watching from the side. Because she clearly saw that the so-called fresh spotted shrimp were only swayed a few times in the movement of their wrists. However, at this moment in the live broadcast room, the audience was infected by the enthusiastic service of the boss lady and paid no attention to anything else. "This boss is really good, he looks like a conscientious vendor. If there's a chance to go, I'll definitely come to this store too. Yeah, it feels like going to a friend's store, it's reassuring. Don't say it, it's too touching, it's also too considerate of consumers." The audience in the live broadcast room unanimously praised this boss. According to the next development, it should be Chu Qian taking the purchased seafood to the processing site, and then being able to start as a store exploration anchor as a crucial step to taste it. But at this moment, Chu Qian did not behave as expected. But with a hint of curiosity, he said, "Did you forget to tell me about the price?" After saying these words, the landlady seemed to have never expected Chu Qian to react so quickly. However, for the landlady, this kind of thing is already familiar to her. She immediately lifted her head and smiled at Chu Qian, saying, "Little girl, you can definitely rest assured about the price. Sister, our main focus here is on fairness. And my sister has already followed you, she's your fan." End of this chapter. Chapter 2. What a conscientious shopkeeper. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. What a conscientious shopkeeper. Look, it's truly a big anchor with 200 people, even the boss has paid attention. Anchor, the boss is so kind, don't worry. Yeah, where can I find such a good boss? Hurry up and find a shop to start cooking. I'm ready for instant noodles. In the live broadcast room, water enthusiasts are all urging, after all, those who like to watch live broadcasts and explore stores are basically looking for pictures of the food being cooked. However, Chu Qian did not answer the questions in the live broadcast room at this time, but continued to look at the landlady. "Boss, the price is convenient. It seems like you haven't told me yet." When she saw that Chu Qian was still unwilling to let go, the landlady was already a bit unhappy in her heart, but she still pretended to be enthusiastic before. "Don't worry, little girl. I've been doing business here for so many years, and I'm known for being honest with both the elderly and the young. I don't know how many repeat customers there are, but after eating it, you'll understand." The landlady has skillfully tied the black plastic bag in her hand with an explanatory knot. "I put the bag of seafood on the electronic scale when I changed hands. Little girl, take a look at this scale. There are 2 pounds and 7 tails of lobster in total. I'll give you 2.5 pounds. The landlady handed the lobster in her hand to Chu Qian, and then turned to weigh the crabs that had just been packed in other bags. Wow, the boss lady who is enthusiastic and offers discounts, why can't I touch her? Yeah, look at this boss lady, what a great person she is. Oh my goodness, let me also come across a boss like this." In the live broadcast room, everyone is sighing. Chu Qian looked at the words of her brothers in the live broadcast room and smiled silently. Suddenly, the camera twitched slightly. Chu Qian tore open a small hole in the bag and placed it by the pool. I saw a continuous stream of water flowing out of the bag. I saw the originally small and bulky bag instantly wither like a deflated ball. Quiet. The entire live broadcast room suddenly fell into a deathly silence. Then the barrage in the entire live broadcast room exploded instantly. "Sleeping trough, where did you get the water? No, when did you see the boss add water to it? Yeah, didn't we specifically control the water when we just filled the lobster inside? WOC. I don't believe it, I don't believe it. Isn't this landlady just a good person?" Looking at the scene in front of us in the live broadcast room, countless shocked bullet comments burst out in an instant. Originally, everyone in the live broadcast room was praising how good this boss lady was. Now it seems like everyone is wrong. "Miss, I've also weighed this crab well for you. It weighs over 4 pounds. The landlady still wore a warm smile and handed the lobster in her hand to Chu Qian. "Alright, sister. So what, I forgot how heavy this lobster weighed just now. Can you help me weigh it again?" Chu Qian also gave the landlady a smile. The smile of the innocent little girl in front of the boss's wife unconsciously made her feel a little uneasy. Why is this little girl's smile so chilling? The landlady muttered to herself, but she didn't have too much doubt about the little girl in front of her. She didn't even realize how much trouble this little girl would cause her later. "I never thought this little girl would have a big impact on the entire seafood market. Okay, I'll help you weigh on again now." The landlady still had a smile on her face, but just as she saw the new number on the scale, her smile suddenly froze. 2 pounds. This number stunned everyone in the live broadcast room, and everyone started discussing it. "I'm super, how much? Is there only 2 pounds left? If I remember correctly, it was 2 pounds and 7 taels just now, right? No, I just added 7 taels of water. Ah. 7 liang, where did that come from? 7 liang of water." Waves of amazement came from the live broadcast room, but Chu Qian just smiled and didn't say anything. After all, this has just begun. Everyone in the live broadcast room, please change the previous review. It's like just now praising this auntie's conscience is not really this group of people. No, is this seafood restaurant so unethical? No wonder it's the cheapest store in the entire market. Yeah, this quantity contains so much water, can it not be cheap? I'm super, it's over 80 yuan per kilogram of seawater, what a luxury. She even gave you a lobster even though she could grab it directly. He really made me cry. At this time, the number of people in the live broadcast room is constantly increasing. And news of an increase in popularity kept coming from Chu Qian's ear. In just a little while, it has already reached over 100 points. Even surpassing the total of live broadcasts from the previous few days. Chu Qian was happy, but the landlady's face beside her began to darken. It is obvious that she has discovered the hole at the bottom corner of the bag. The water I poured into the bag in advance must have flowed out from some hole. But was it done by the little girl in front of me? With so many years of her own experience, she doesn't seem to be such a shrewd person, does she? Is it, where did it accidentally hang and rot? The landlady was so conflicted in her heart, but her hands were not idle either. Although there was no smile on his face, he continued to speak. Didn't it weigh 2.5 pounds just now? Why are you weighing 2 pounds now? Did you just take out something? Alright, Auntie will bring you another one. Eat more and nourish your body. Look at how thin you are now. The landlady smiled and tried to stuff the lobster into Chu Qian's bag. No, Auntie, I don't want this lobster anymore. You better take a look at this crab. Chu Qian smiled and waved her hand, rejecting her kindness. What, did I hear you right? The anchor actually refused. Can she really say it out loud? I envy you so much. Back then, I just wanted to buy 1 pound of oranges, and then my boss stuffed 2 pounds of oranges, 2 pounds of apples, a string of grapes, and a whole watermelon. The guy in front is really miserable. Why don't you refuse? I can't wipe away my face. At this moment, several senior executives were discussing in the conference room how to handle the current situation at the Magic City Field Management Bureau. Countless residents have reported that many seafood markets are lacking in weight. But those vendors have their own small group and the news flows quickly. Every deployment search will be resolved by their rumors. These senior executives have also been struggling with how to solve this problem. Just as the meeting was deadlocked, a young ACI hurriedly ran in with his phone in hand. Boss! Look at this. End of this chapter. Take a look at chapter 3, I said the boss lady is a good person. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Take a look at chapter 3, I said the boss lady is a good person. At this moment, a group of market regulators are watching the footage coming from the live broadcast room. Everyone stared tightly at the screen. They are naturally clear about the places in the video. This is the place under their jurisdiction. After watching the incident of just 7 liang of water, everyone fell silent. This matter must be thoroughly investigated by me. At this moment, a leader-like man, after a moment of silence, slammed onto the table and almost roared out this sentence. Immediately after, he continued, now, let's queue up a few people. If these traffickers want to go crazy, nothing may happen. The live broadcast footage is still ongoing. At this moment, the boss Nian instantly changed into a sorrowful expression. The whole person became a bit mentally lethargic, and then he said to Chu Qian. Little girl, I'm really sorry. The mental state of going out early and returning late every day is really not good. I'm not careful without doing things. After finishing speaking, he specifically shook the remaining water in the bag. There won't be much water left this time. Don't worry, Auntie, there won't be any shortage of weight here. I'm really sorry. After speaking, a very unpleasant smile appeared on his face, full of tenderness and kindness. It seems that everything just now was not intentional. Now, the audience in the live broadcast room instantly began to split into 2 levels. I just said, this landlady looks so good, how could she possibly do such a thing? I just blamed the landlady wrong, I'm really damn it. Their vendors are also pitiful. They go out early and return late every day, all with some hard work money. Yeah, it's not easy to do some business these days. Since the host has already admitted her mistake, let's forget it. I think the landlady already knows she did something wrong, and the anchor will definitely not care. Of course, there are those who speak for the landlady, but there are still many voices condemning them. You said the boss lady earns hard money, is it because the anchor's money was brought in by the strong wind? Yeah, no matter what, as a merchant, it's not right for such a thing to happen. Everyone just said they've encountered something like this before, how could they suddenly forgive me? You are all magnanimous people. Anyway, it's not about yourself. Hang it high. To be fair, no matter how you say it, the merchant is definitely wrong. As for whether to forgive or how to forgive, it's up to the anchor. I don't know how hard people suffer, so don't advise magnanimity. Don't just type on the keyboard and feel like you're on the moral high ground. Quickly, two different voices erupted throughout the entire live broadcast room. Lying down, we just feel that big things have become small things, and the landlady also said it wasn't intentional. Yeah, don't be unreasonable. Can this be called reasonable but not forgiving? We are teaching the truth. To be honest, if you don't know how to do seafood business, you don't have to wake up before dawn and worry about the freshness of the goods every day. Brothers, these people just want to go black in the area. The landlady didn't rest well and made some mistakes, so she forced them to be lazy. Are you being unreasonable? This vendor is not easy, don't maliciously speculate about others. That's right, how hard this job is. I have to go out early and return late every day. Every day is so hard, and people still seem so kind. How could they do such a thing? This aunt must be a good person. Everyone should be a little more friendly. Looking at the comments from the water users in the live broadcast room, Chu Qian did not refute anyone either. Just keep talking to the boss. So, you remove the packaging of this shrimp, the rope on the crab body, and so on, and then weigh it again. Then calculate the remaining weight for me, and I'll take it, okay. After speaking, Chu Qian smiled at the boss's wife, although she didn't expect the little girl in front of her to even put her mind on the crab that had just been weighed. However, it's not easy to say anything now, so I can only nod and say. Okay, little girl, I'll help you weigh it. The landlady quickly followed Chu Qian's request to dispose of the seafood in the bag, but continued to speak. Little girl, don't you think these ropes look quite heavy? They don't actually weigh much. After speaking in front of him, he directly removed all the rubber bands and ropes as thick as his little finger, and even brought a few clean bags to put all the seafood back in. Lobster and spotted shrimp each weigh 2 pounds, while crab weighs 3 pounds and 6 liang. It was said that the crab rope doesn't weigh much. I didn't handle it properly just now, auntie. For lobster, it was originally 100, so you can count it as 90. Even if you have 40 spotted shrimp, our purchase price for crabs is still expensive. Just give us a cost price of 90. The total is 575, just give it 500. After finishing speaking, the boss quickly tied the bag in her hand and prepared to hand it over to Chu Qian. Take a look, I'll say the boss lady is a good person. At this price, basically the landlady doesn't have much profit left. What about the little black guy just now? Are you satisfied with the attitude of the boss lady? For a moment, the comments in the live broadcast room once again spoke up for the boss lady. Everyone is praising the boss lady. At this moment, the staff at the Magic City Field Management Bureau also breathed a sigh of relief upon seeing it. It seems that our worries are unnecessary, not so serious. However, Chu Qian was not in a hurry to get the bag from the boss's wife's hand. But instead, when the landlady was not paying attention, she threw her phone directly onto the scale. All of this happened so suddenly, and the landlady was still smiling as she reached out her hand, waiting for Chu Qian to take the bag and complete the transaction. At this moment, the audience in the live broadcast room was a bit confused, with pedestrians walking around. It is obvious that the live broadcast screen is not lagging, but why are the two people in the screen still moving? But then the landlady's face suddenly changed, and she blushed from the position of her neck to her entire cheeks. Because she could see clearly, there was only a sense of silence in Chu Qian's eyes at this moment. This feeling is like everything has been seen through by Chu Qian. It's like being caught lying to teachers and parents when I was young. The boss lady didn't know why, she suddenly felt this way. Just as she quickly averted her gaze, she found a brand new phone placed on her electronic scale. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Good guy, it's hard to defend against. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 5. 10,000 people watching counterfeiting and anti-fraud online. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. 10,000 people watching counterfeiting and anti-fraud online. How did so many official people come in? Chu Qian looked at the prompts in her live broadcast room and felt slightly surprised. I didn't do anything wrong myself, did I? Why? Are they also interested in the deceptive tactics of these market vendors? Chu Qian shook her head. Compared to this, there was another thing more worthy of her astonishment. My own live broadcast room, which already has 2,000 people, unexpectedly attracted more than 7,000 people again in this short time. My live streaming room instantly became popular on the platform. Even without water. These are all real viewers in Chu Qian's live broadcast room. There are 10,000 people in a live broadcast room, what a terrifying number of people. And the system's prompt sound in Chu Qian's mind never stopped. In this short period of time, her popularity has risen to tens of thousands of points. You should know that an audience represents more than just one person. There may be many people watching her live broadcast together. Rubbing. The sound of a rocket flashed by, and a rocket icon appeared on everyone's screen simultaneously. A big brother sent a rocket. Don't thank me, I'm here to thank the anchor for exposing the dark side of the market. At this moment, Chu Qian naturally had no time to thank the gift, while Big Brother took the initiative to leave a message. And just after this Big Brother, Chu Qian's live broadcast room, which was originally pure with only bullet comments, was instantly bombarded with gifts. Countless people gave gifts to Chu Qian in the name of gratitude. Of course, there are also people with selfish intentions. Seeing such a man and such a tough beauty. It's really hard not to be tempted. And Chu Qian never imagined that the first time she received such a gift trend was not by selling herself or performing arts, but by exposing market scams. Have people started to enjoy this taste now? And while Chu Qian was frantically scrolling through her live broadcast room, the boss finally couldn't hold her back. Her face even began to slowly turn purple. She picked up the phone that Chu Qian had placed on the scale and raised it high. If you don't buy today, you won't be able to walk this seafood market like this. The landlady shouted at Chu Qian. Her tone was full of malice, it seemed like she had really broken the defense. I'm super, punishment, this is too punishment. At this point, it's time for Teacher Zhang San to appear. What about Teacher Zhang San? How to judge, forced buying and forced selling. This live broadcast room is all about, sir. Is this landlady crazy? It seems that the boss lady, Kaisher, didn't pay attention to the anchor on, so she just stepped on the nail. No, brothers. Sir is in the live broadcast room, not on site. Who will rescue the current anchor? That makes sense. That's it, isn't the anchor going to have an accident? Sir, go and save us, sir. The people in the live broadcast room started discussing because of the current scene. A large number of people are also worried. After all, who knows what a person will do if they become angry and embarrassed? Moreover, this is a person who does everything in his power to make money. The whole market came over because of this shout. It seems that there is a hint of malice in the eyes of all the vendors. And in the eyes of other passers-by, there was more of a playful expression. Understandable. No one wants to go through this muddy water together. Under the roar of this landlady, the entire market was divided into 3 factions. One faction is the landlady and the people who help her. One faction is a group of people who are indifferent to their own interests and hold themselves high. The last faction is Chu Qian herself. Chu Qian also felt a strange gaze, looked around for a week, then turned her head to look at the landlady and said indifferently, "I won't buy it." Upon hearing these words, the landlady completely broke through her defenses and sat down on the ground, throwing tantrums and rolling around. "Look at this person. She finished making things and didn't buy any more. Look, isn't this just bullying honest people? I get up early and go dark every day, finally selling something, and I have to be fooled by such people. Hurry up and have a personal evaluation." The landlady made a scene on the ground, and the entire vegetable market with her loud voice could be heard. The sudden appearance of this scene surprised both the people in the live broadcast room and Chu Qian. The people in the live broadcast room began to worry about Chu Qian one after another. They also don't want Chu Qian to be forcibly bought or sold because of this. Boss's wife. Stop and stop. Don't make a fuss. Be harmonious and make money. Suddenly, a person appeared and stopped the boss's waving hand. That person is wearing a chef's uniform and has a tall figure. He still has this heroic face. Am I super? Heroes save beauty. No, isn't that my husband? He's so handsome. What, your husband? Is that my husband? Okay. The live broadcast room was boiling with the appearance of this man. The heart that had been hanging from worrying about Chu Qian was also relieved. This heroic rescue scene is really touching. Alright, give me face, I'll take the person with me, let's forget about this. The person continued to play around and helped the landlady who was splashing on the ground up. What do you want to do? You won't be interested in this little girl, will you? The landlady returned to her original state, but with a hint of resentment on her face. No, this is my friend. She's not sensible, please bear with her. That person directly apologized to the boss's wife along with Chu Qian, but Chu Qian didn't give in. So what, I'll take the person with me. Let's talk about it next time. The person didn't wait for the boss's mother's consent to take Chu Qian's hand before pulling her away, without even obtaining Chu Qian's consent. Although Chu Qian didn't know him, she didn't refuse. After all, with so many people watching here, can this person still sell themselves? At the same time, a group of people were also smoking fiercely in the live broadcast room of Dou Sha's senior management. This scene is almost identical to the situation of the Magic City Field Management Bureau in front. However, on the screen in front of them were the footage of the few regulatory personnel entering the live broadcast room just now. They stared at the live broadcast room of Chu Qian on the screen, feeling 1,000 sorrows in their hearts. Those regulatory personnel not only regulate people in the market, but they also regulate together. So many people coming to our platform at the same time is not something to be happy about. Silence, a long silence. Why do so many official people come into this live broadcast room? A person slowly spoke up, and the sound penetrated everyone's ears and stirred up the curious bug. I don't know, but all I know is, show me this live broadcast room. The person sitting in the highest position slowly spoke up. Don't offend any official person, including the anchor. His tone was full of helplessness. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Underlying Rules in the Market. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Underlying Rules in the Market. So, who the hell are you? Aren't you planning to introduce yourself? Chu Qian looked at the person holding her, but couldn't help but ask. Didn't I introduce myself before? The somewhat green boy scratched his head. I am the vendor of the small shop ahead, selling processed seafood. The person slowed down a bit and spoke slowly. Just call me the Thimble. He turned around and smiled at Chu Qian, his smile sunny and warm. My name is Qian. Chu Qian also responded with a smile from the thimble. So why are you here to help me? Chu Qian asked, her tone full of confusion. Do you still need to ask? Of course, it depends on how good you look. The thimble awkwardly scratched its head, but spoke frankly. Thank you for your compliment. Chu Qian bowed slightly towards the thimble to express her gratitude, and then took the opportunity to pull out her hand. Oh, let me tell you, all the vendors here are like this. This market is filled with all those messy hidden rules. After being pulled out by Chu Qian, the thimble felt a bit embarrassed and slowly explained to her. It's not just this market, there are basically other markets as well. The thimble led the protagonist into his shop, gesturing for her to find a place to sit down first and slowly talk to her. For example, when buying tomatoes and cucumbers, don't take the top layer. Also, remember to peel off the outer skin a little when buying lettuce or something like that. These things are situations that would occur in ordinary markets. When buying raw meat, you should pay attention to whether the color of the meat is uneven, and whether it has been stored for a long time after a slight smell. And is it possible that this meat is mother pork? Is this meat dead pork? These are all hidden rules in the market. Most vendors can tell if you are a novice when it comes to buying groceries. The thimble thoughtfully explained to Chu Qian these truths that most young people who have just entered society do not understand. They will specifically drag young people like you to buy and sell, and because you young people are too embarrassed to refuse, you can only be forced to suffer losses. The thimble talks confidently. It seems that as a practitioner, he knows these things like the back of his hand. So, I suggest that if you want to buy something, you follow behind the elderly person's buttocks, so that after they pay the price, you can buy food with them at a decent price. They don't dare to bully the elderly either, after all, they can't even make a fuss with the elderly. So following behind the elderly is the safest way. Dingpin said it very happily. It seems that he enjoys explaining these things to young people that can avoid being pitted. Is this the legendary angel? Why are there such kind little vendors in this world? Yeah, what kind of gentle person is this? It's so touching, isn't it? Why on earth did he tell the anchor these things? Is this love? The barrage watched two people sitting at a table on the screen. A boy holding milk tea looked at him in front of him, his eyes full of tenderness. The boy across from him looked at the girl in front of him talking confidently, his eyes full of light. Why is it such a perfect match? Oh my, it's so sweet, so good. Yeah, a free-spirited beauty and a kind-hearted handsome guy, accompany me on all sides. MD, brothers, I feel like I'm going to break up. What should I do? No, brother, I feel it too. Don't do it. Mom, I just fell in love not long ago. The people in the live broadcast room watched this scene, feeling positive, joyful, and worried. Let me tell you, especially in this seafood market, there are even more chaotic hidden rules. The thimble seemed to have reached the key point and suddenly stood up. Just like adding water to something, rubber bands absorb water and weigh several pounds. Carrying plastic bags without removing the skin has become a default behavior among people. If you see that one family's seafood is cheaper than others, it's likely because their family adds more things than others. Not to mention ghost names, you can't even find a few accurate names in the entire market. So when you expose the boss's wife, everyone will look at you with that strange look. After all, this has become a consensus, only people like you will be seen as eccentric in their eyes. The thimble paced back and forth, explaining to Chu Qian what had just happened. It seems to be trying to justify everything that just happened. What do you mean, am I wrong? Should I have been tricked? Chu Qian squinted her eyes and looked at him with an indescribable expression in her eyes. No. Of course not. The thimble was clearly stunned by Chu Qian's question. I'm not that kind of businessman. He patted his chest proudly, his expression filled with pride. Really? Chu Qian still looked at him like that, but there was no element of doubt in her tone. Of course it's true. You can try eating it. His eyes were clear and flawless. It seems that his greatest pride is that this store never lacks a small amount of weight. Then let's eat here. Everyone is so good, his things must be good. Yeah, this boss is obviously completely different from the one just now. He handed you so much, how could he harm you? Does anyone think that this boss is not a good person like me? That one in front is really sour. That's right, the boss here must be a good person. Yeah, let's try it here. People in the live broadcast room suggested that the host eat here when they saw what the top pin had brought up. Watching the comments in the live broadcast room, Chu Qian also shook her head helplessly and said to the top pin. Then I'll try it here. The thimble immediately warmly welcomed Chu Qian to the counter. There are all kinds of fresh seafood inside. Everything inside looks very fresh and without any packaging. They are all selected to control the moisture and then placed on a tray for weighing. It doesn't even have the extra weight of a plastic bag. At this moment, the live broadcast room also began to sigh. Sure enough, this boss is a simple and kind person. Not at all deceiving the anchor. Just when Chu Qian wanted to choose those seafood, a system prompt sound came to my mind. Ding, the current popularity has reached 100,000 points. Is there a lottery or not? End of this chapter. Is this the most conscientious shopkeeper in chapter 7? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Is this the most conscientious shopkeeper in chapter 7? In the management bureau of the Magic City field, the atmosphere of this conference room has become so solemn that any carbon-based life can be suffocated. Because what the top pin mentioned earlier clearly does not comply with market rules. But they can't limit it at all. When they heard about the hidden rules in the market after hearing the top pin, everyone's faces were as ugly as stepping on dog poop. The things mentioned by the thimble pierced into the heart of the hot work they were doing like sharp blades. Fist to the flesh, knife to the death. Although these issues may not seem significant, once there is a group of people like this, it is not an ordinary problem. This is a matter of market sentiment. It's their negligence in management. It was already difficult for them to accept people like the landlady. That landlady appears to be a habitual offender. To exaggerate, she probably has even tricked everyone who has bought things at her stall. And such vendors are actually active in the market. Not even one. It's so serious that people who come to buy things have to face such people. The people in the conference room didn't speak, they just smoked in silence. Go check. After an unknown amount of time, the person sitting at the top of the conference room finally spoke slowly. Go check for me, how many vendors like this are, and seal them off for me. His voice suddenly became louder, and his tone was filled with anger. Everyone hurry up and move with me. Just today, I want to see the list of people who have been sealed off, suspended, and rectified. He kept patting the table, as if there was an indescribable amount of anger. TMD, it's embarrassing to leave it at your grandmother's house. Where should I look when reporting work? He lit another cigarette and sucked off half of it in one gulp. And the others present also began calling their subordinates one after another. At this moment, Chu Qian was browsing her system interface. Did you reach the point where you could draw so quickly? Lottery. Chu Qian thoughtfully clicked on the button. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining and enhancing their physical fitness. In an instant, Chu Qian had an invisible force flowing into her body. Chu Qian felt that her strength had become much stronger, and even her 5 senses had become stronger. She can even hear the sound of vendors pulling back and forth with customers outside the door clearly now. Hi. What are you staring at? The thimble swayed in front of Chu Qian. Chu Qian also regained her senses and saw the concerned expression of the thimble beside her. Ah, sorry. Chu Qian quickly apologized. It's okay, what's wrong? Why did you lose focus? The thimble asked. It's nothing, I just remembered something happy. Chu Qian gave him a slight smile. Well, that's good. The thimble also smiled back at her. Come on, see what you want to eat. The thimble helped her hold the plate and clip and pointed to the things in front of her. Can you help me keep an eye on it, but I can't eat too much. Chu Qian didn't really want to choose for herself, she just wanted to see if the person in front of her was the same as what he said about herself. Okay, then take some shrimp, a crab, another green fish, and a little clam. The thimble moved the plate in its hand, and soon it picked up a plate of food. It does meet Chu Qian's requirements, not much at all, and even a girl can finish it. Look, this boss is just a good person. I can let go of this opportunity to pit money. Is this boss really a good person? Indeed, without comparison, there is no harm. Compared to the previous seafood stall owner, it's a world of difference. Really, what a noble quality this is. No, you guys praised too early, right? Yeah, where is that? People in the live broadcast room exclaimed when they saw this scene. At the same time, don't forget to step on the previous boss's wife. After seeing this scene, the people at the Magic City Field Management Bureau finally softened a little. Finally, there is a kind and normal vendor. If they were all the same people as the previous vendor, then their Market Management Bureau wouldn't be able to save face at all. Keep looking, if possible, set him as a benchmark for promotion. The person sitting in the upper position finally breathed a sigh of relief. I have already started to thank this young man in my heart. After all, his last face will depend on this young man to hang on. And the others present also finally breathed a sigh of relief. After all, this is not a small matter. If it continues like this, it's just a matter of 2 words whether the seats of the few people present here can be guaranteed at this moment. At the seafood restaurant, Chu Qian slowly spoke up. How is the price calculated? Chu Qian's eyebrows were a bit tight. It's up to you, you can calculate separately or together. The top pin pointed to the price tag on the shelf. Chu Qian took a closer look and saw that there were indeed clear prices posted on those seafood cabinets. The unit price and the integrated price are clearly labeled on each one. Don't worry, the prices here are very transparent. Although it's a bit expensive, the most expensive ones are processing fees. As the thimble spoke, it placed the tray in its hand on the electronic scale. What do you think you should do to calculate the price, which adds up to £3? He looked up at Chu Qian and asked. His smile is still so clean. Let's calculate together. Chu Qian squinted her eyes and slowly said. Okay. He picked up the weighed things and wanted to walk into the room. Just as he turned around, a crisp clang sounded. He turned around suddenly. Chu Qian quickly placed her phone on the tray with lightning speed. Silence. Long silence. The suffocating breath instantly spread throughout the room. No, what's going on? Does the anchor want to turn the camera down? That's it, isn't it really another ghostly nickname? Ah. Shouldn't it be? So what were you saying for so long? Maybe it's just for the purpose of seeking sympathy. Play emotional cards to make the anchor not doubt themselves, so that they can take advantage of the opportunity to make money. No, is the routine so deep? I just want to buy something to eat, why should I be on guard? That's it, if such people are all deceiving people, then how dare I buy things? Don't worry, brothers, it's not yet possible. The people in the live broadcast room are becoming more and more anxious. Chu Qian also hesitated to turn the camera down. Even the people from the Magic City Management Bureau couldn't sit still watching this scene. If even this nickname is a ghost nickname, then they are probably going to be criticized tomorrow. Don't embarrass them again. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Isn't it? Is this map of yen so long? You are listening at novel full.audio. This translator is experiencing an error, please try another translator. Chapter 9. Runaway, Dense Tracking Network. You are listening at novel full.audio. Chapter 9 Runaway, Dense Tracking Network. So what, you're cooking, I won't disturb you, I'm leaving on. Chu Qian saw that she had been discovered and quickly said. That thimble is now full of malice on its face. It cannot be said to be extremely fierce, it can only be said to make people feel uneasy. Chu Qian didn't wait for him to reply and just walked away. If this is caught, I can't be sure what I can do. It's impossible to say that even if the water users in the live broadcast room report to the police, there may be no evidence to prove it. So sneak away first as a gesture of respect. And the thimble naturally didn't want to let go of the little girl who knew the inside story. Pick up the knife and chase after it. But just by going out on her own, Chu Qian had already disappeared from her sight. Did this woman take gunpowder? Can she run so fast? The thimble felt immense astonishment. But he couldn't find any trace of the woman in his field of vision. He reluctantly took out his phone and happened to see the message posted in the group chat. Inside is a photo of Chu Qian, accompanied by a paragraph below. This woman is live streaming, please be careful. The thimble saw this sentence and didn't know what to say. He silently took out his cigarette from his pocket and took a deep breath. The phone in hand also dialed the phone. That girl looked clean with me, don't let her run away. After the top pin finished speaking, he hung up the phone and silently walked back into the room. He is not afraid at all. No one can still run out after knowing everything. We have to ensure that they won't go out and talk nonsense. No. Who are you, after all? Why are you running so fast? Just now, I felt like the wind you brought while running was like it could blow up a roadside stall. What kind of person is the anchor? How do I feel that Bolt may not be able to catch up with the one who just started? The people in the live broadcast were surprised as they watched the wind brought by the accelerated sprint behind Chu Qian. Chu Qian had already left that seafood restaurant several tens of meters away in a short period of time. Even if Bolt came here to start, he would still shout NB. So what, I'm a sports student. Chu Qian said somewhat guilty. After all, she didn't expect her foot to climb at this speed just now. I have not yet experienced the power of this physical strengthening. It's normal to not react. She just thought about running for her life, so she must be able to run as fast as she can. Who would think of hiding their strength when running for life? But now Chu Qian walks on the streets of the seafood market, feeling unusually crowded for some reason. The newly strengthened five senses can always detect abnormalities around the body. Brothers, I feel like I'm being tracked. Chu Qian spoke softly, occasionally looking around. Not so much, right? Didn't you just watch a fake seller? Yeah, then why wouldn't we be tracked? What a big hand is needed to find someone specifically to track you for these small matters. The money I spent on you is not enough to track you down. Yeah, even if you're really being tracked, you're not afraid. Didn't you run quite fast just now? At your speed, how many more people will only have to eat your exhaust gas? The people in the live broadcast room all thought that Chu Qian was in the overall program effect. After all, who would track someone else just because they saw someone selling counterfeit goods? Is this too much of a fuss? Brothers, I'm telling the truth. Chu Qian said seriously and quickly checked the surrounding environment again. After receiving institutional strengthening, even her memory has been greatly enhanced. It's not an exaggeration to say that she can even be considered unforgettable now. Look at the 6 o'clock direction, is that person who came to buy seafood already there when I first entered the seafood market? Chu Qian spoke confidently, these gazes appearing childish in her eyes now. Which other convenience store's camera keeps moving? Who convenience store is so idle playing with their own camera? What's more, do you think that all the peddlers are a bit absent-minded when selling? Even the voice of crying is low. Because I have already been known by them now. They now know that someone is exposing them live in their seafood market, so of course they dare not shout openly. Their current priority is only one. That's to get me back. Even without exaggeration, some of them are now searching for my spot in my live broadcast room. Shocked. Everyone in the live broadcast room heard Chu Qian's words. All of them are unimaginable things for everyone in the live broadcast room. Especially when I heard Chu Qian say that someone is already staring at her in the live broadcast room. Everyone's hair stood up in an instant. Are there any ghosts in the live broadcast room? It seems normal to have ghosts among over 10,000 people. Who led the Imperial Army here? So what, I think this live broadcast can be temporarily paused for a while. I also feel that. Anchor, why don't you just close the live broadcast room? Indeed, are you too dangerous? The anchor should be careful. The most important thing is for you to get out alive. In the live broadcast room, countless barrage of worries echoed frequently. After all, the people on the screen seem to be facing some personal threat right now. Everyone still doesn't want to see such a good girl die young here. Everyone began to advise the anchors to leave here quickly. Before everyone could finish their instructions, the scene in the live broadcast room suddenly began to change rapidly. The anchor has started another escape in the seafood market. The rapid changes in the scene make it impossible to distinguish where the person in the picture is actually escaping. But indeed she is moving at high speed. Is she already being chased? MD, where is she? At this moment, just where Chu Qian was standing, two tall men were looking around. Their phones are playing Chu Qian's live broadcast. Didn't she just be here? The man who just cursed the street continued to speak. Another man threw the cigarette butt in his mouth onto the ground and viciously stomped it out with his foot. These little girls are really running fast. His tone had a fierce intent to cut Chu Qian to pieces. Keep looking for her, you can't let her run away. Halfway through, the person added, not only that, but also strive to catch her as soon as possible. Every extra second of her live broadcast is a threat to us. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. What is the origin of this girl? She is your person. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. What is the origin of this girl? She is your person. The people from the Magic City Field Management Bureau looked at the screens in the live broadcast room, their faces not very pretty. Especially when Chu Qian easily pointed out those surveillance nets, the faces of several market inspection teams on site turned green. They don't know where the problem lies, they have also received countless reports. They have also inspected many times. But not a single violation of regulations was found. Not even a ghost name was found, let alone the widespread falsification of those who injected water to recharge. Neither casual nor formal attire has achieved much success. My subordinates have gone so many times without success, but this little girl can tell at a glance where all the people she is following are. All of my subordinates went for nothing because of the people they were following. And this little girl, who appeared to be in her early 20s, could easily escape under the watchful net of these people. This naturally makes their old faces a bit uncomfortable. And the person sitting in the conference room now has a serious expression on their face. After all, why do small vendors in this range have a stalking net? Even the surveillance net of one's own subordinates who can be seen inspecting. What exactly is this group of people plotting? Is it really just to earn that little black money? Buzzing. The vibration of the phone kept ringing, indicating which person sitting in the upper position was on the phone. He glanced at his phone, frowned, and picked it up. What's wrong, old Chow? He asked the person on the other end of the phone. I'm super, Lao Yang. This girl is really amazing. Is she your person? The voice on the other end of the phone sounded extremely excited, as if something precious had been discovered. How to say, you make a condition and transfer her to me. My operations department is still quite short of such talents. The person on the other end of the phone became more and more excited as they spoke. What they knew was that they wanted someone from the police action department, but what they didn't know was that some sleazy uncle was trying to kidnap and sell a little girl. That's not my person. Do you think if I had this kind of treasure, I could still hide it for you until now? Lao Yang pinched his nose and felt 10,000 grass mud horses galloping in his heart. I was already unhappy in my heart, and someone came to sprinkle salt on my wound. Isn't it your person? Where did she come from? She's too skilled in anti-reconnaissance, isn't she? The other end of the phone clearly didn't expect that this person was not from Lao Yang's, and couldn't help but sigh. What is this? People from other regions' police? Or some private detective? The other end of the phone was still talking incessantly, but Lao Yang only felt that person was noisy. No, Lao Chao, are you too idle? Do you have nothing to do there? Lao Yang finally couldn't help but curse. I'm just doing something now. Is there anything more important than recruiting talent from the operations department? Old Chow on the other end of the phone asked in reverse. Lao Yang wanted to refute, but couldn't find any words to refute. I'll tell you, I haven't seen such a talent for a long time, so don't hide and choke with me. If it's yours, you can transfer it to me and offer whatever conditions you want. The phone really sounds urgent. I think I really want someone. That's really not my person. And you've been the boss for so many years, still can't you change your habit of breaking your mouth? Lao Yang finally couldn't hold back and cursed at him. Old Yang's anger was also heard on the other end of the phone, and he wisely closed his mouth for a while. There was a brief silence, and none of the people on the side dared to make a sound. Okay, so why don't we check it? After a while, the other side finally spoke tentatively. Check it all. Old Yang on this side remained silent for a while before speaking up. What is this market really doing? And what kind of person is Chu Qian? Check it out for me. He seemed to know he had lost a lot of face and cursed. And you guys, let your group of subordinates come in and take a look. Why can't even compare to an amateur? He pointed to the noses of several people present and cursed. And the few people below didn't dare to talk back at all, they could only be scolded in a gloomy manner. Where has the anchor gone in the market again? No, that kind of thing where you don't even catch your breath after starting and running. Is the anchor okay? Did he get chased? How can you have the thrill of watching police and gangster movies? This doesn't need to be a movie thriller. It's a live broadcast. The live broadcast room looked at the now calm live broadcast room and left messages one after another. The escape just now was too sudden, and everyone in the live broadcast room didn't react for a moment. Before even seeing anyone moving towards the anchor's position, the anchor had already left. After stopping, Chu Qian first looked around lightly and then slowly spoke up. They came to find me, but probably didn't even see my shadow, did they? Chu Qian slowly moved among the crowd in the market, while her eyes and ears kept capturing the movements around her. Be ready to leave at any time. There is a delay in live streaming, and they want to catch me by relying on the live streaming footage, so they have a bit too much to think about. Chu Qian said so, but she didn't let go of her guard. I wonder if these people are mixed with deep eyeliner. So, are the anchors misleading them by relying on live broadcast delays? Is this also possible? Just advocating for first-hand confidence, right? I'm super, just playing with it. Is this the sports student after sedimentation? There is a bound beauty. Don't imitate, everyone. You don't have the anchor running away fast. The people in the live broadcast were all shocked and they heard Chu Qian's explanation. It's time for people to leisurely and elegantly play with their pursuers. What kind of high-profile pussy is this? But only Chu Qian herself knew that this was an impossible decision. The way out now has already been watched to death by them, and I have to think of some other way out. Otherwise, if you are delayed, you will not be far away from Ga. What should we do? 10,000 ideas and possibilities kept surging in Chu Qian's mind. The last bite of teeth. Let's just do it this way, one never stops. Play big. She chose to stand in front of the landlady who had just come in and wanted to cheat her money, and slowly spoke up. I won't argue with you anymore. I'm here to find old Chen. Her tone was full of confidence, surrounded by an endless and profound temperament. It looks completely different from the naive girl just now. Tell him, I'm here to receive the goods. End of this chapter.